Mr. Obama's message to Iran was clear. More and more countries are joining in America's efforts to choke off Iran's ability to trade. That pressure will only deepen, he told a joint session of the American Congress, until Iran demonstrates it is not developing the capacity to make nuclear weapons.
Let there be no doubt. America is determined to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, and I will take no options off the table to achieve that goal. But a peaceful resolution of this issue is still possible, and far better. And if Iran changes course and meets its obligations, it can rejoin the community of nations.
Mr. Obama had good reason to be satisfied on this issue. Only one day earlier, the European Union announced it would phase in a ban on buying Iranian oil.
Yesterday, the European Union agreed to a phased ban on the import of Iranian oil and action against Iran's central bank. This is a significant increase, a major increase, in the peaceful, legitimate pressure on the Iranian government to return to negotiations over its nuclear program. Until it does so, the pressure will only increase.
Some Western officials reportedly stressed that Europe acted now in part to lessen the risk that Israel might take matters into its own hands and bomb Iranian nuclear facilities.
You constantly have the Israelis pressing on allies in places like Washington, saying the Iranians are very close, just around the corner, and they'll get their hands on a bomb. So clearly for them, it's been a factor. And I mean, overall, I think there's also a domestic politics perspective to bear in mind. President Obama cannot be seen to be a weak foreign policy president. There is nothing arguably bigger in terms of issues that he has to worry about than the Iranian nuclear program.
Analysts say Iran is feeling the pain of the increasing sanctions.
Iran has had to deal with sanctions, as I said, but not to this extent before. It's really having an impact, and people are being hurt in their pockets. This isn't just about officials not being able to travel overseas anymore. This is about people not being able to buy basic goods and services at prices that they can afford. We've seen panic in the Iranian currency and gold exchanges the last few months. There's an element of panic that we've never seen before in the Islamic Republic.
The new European sanctions are unprecedented, but of limited impact. That's because the majority of Iran's oil is sold not in the West, but in China, India, and other Asian countries. Still, the West is only gradually increasing its chokehold, hopeful to get the Islamic Republic to accept a negotiated solution. But the game is risky.
There's a lot of brinkmanship all around. You know, we hear the Israelis constantly threatening attack on Iran. We hear the Iranians constantly threatening to retaliate. And lately, they've been talking about closing the Strait of Hormuz. What I think analysts are genuinely concerned about right now is a decision to perhaps at a lower level in the Iranian ranks of the regime to confront, say, the United States Navy in the Persian Gulf. Basically bring us to an accidental war. That's the fear.
There is also the danger that Tehran could follow in the path of North Korea and continue to develop nuclear weapons, albeit at great cost in terms of economic and diplomatic isolation, as a strategy to guarantee against an attack from Israel or the United States. U.S. domestic politics appears to be playing a role. Less than a year before American presidential elections, U.S. President Barack Obama wants to be tough on this key foreign policy issue. But America is genuinely concerned about the prospect of a nuclear-armed Iran and is heartened by Europe's recent decision to impose an oil embargo on the Islamic Republic. Burton Bolag, KSA2, Washington.